Typical.
Okay, Jessel didn't tell me it was my role, but I'm gonna do the welcome. So, I don't know everybody in the room, but I know who most of you are. But my name's Carla McLean. I am the planning official here at the city of Boardman. I've been working for the city now for almost 3 years, full-time for the past almost year now. For those of you who don't know much about me, I did work for Morrow County for 18 years. I left there at the end of 2019. I've done some consulting on the side and I'm a land use planner. So it's been fun to be here at Boardman for the last couple of years. We're kicking off. This is one of a number of planning projects that we're doing. So I would really encourage you to go to the city's website. Just find strategic planning and you'll see all the things that we're doing. We're recording this meeting. It will get posted to that. We're trying to make this as available to the public for involvement as possible. And I want to thank all of you for your willingness to serve on this public advisory committee. I think we've got 8 of these. This is the first of 8.
For this project, we'll have 4.
Oh, 4. Okay. Oh, it's another project because there's 8. Okay, yeah. I don't. I just know that I'm gonna go to a lot of public advisory committee meetings over the next 18 months. So, this one is about parks. I know that. We had a great day today, George and I and the consultant team, and we'll go around and do introductions here in just a minute. We went and looked at, I think, almost every park and recreation option and asset in the city. We probably have more questions than answers after all of that. Part of what we want from you is your input, your insight, your knowledge about what's going on. So again, I'm Carla and I just can't, yes, you can, you absolutely can. You're gonna have to go back and share screen so Dawn can see it. Yep, I'll let you handle it. You know how to do Zoom, I can tell. So, anyway, again, Carla, I'm glad you're all here and I'm gonna go this way and let George start since he hasn't taken a bite yet.
So before you start, I have one request. I'd love an introduction, your name, who you're with, and then if you could say one thing you love about your community, and in particular, like with a recreational lens to it, or even just something you like about your community, share it with the group. Go, George.
Okay. George Scheimer. And CEO of the Architect District. And the plan that we're trying to put together is our park plan for the city and Park and Rec District. So, and that's why we're doing this project together. I do appreciate board members being on this. I know Louis said he'd be here in just a few minutes.
Oh, good. Okay.
So, and also my thing is when I moved here in 2011, my first thing I got introduced to was the park down at the marina, and I fell in love with it. Got to work there the next summer and got to become a board member and now the CEO. I feel a great honor to be part of this. And as for community service, I appreciate you guys stepping up, and I know a lot of you really have a desire to want to serve our community. I admire that in people, and I'm glad we have a student on here that's going to come in as well. So what I love about us,
Serve your community in the park.
you know,
Okay. People's willingness to serve your community. That's awesome.
My turn, huh? My name is Taylor Whiteman. I'm a longtime Boardman resident. Grew up here, graduated from Riverside High School, moved away to Portland for 5 years at Portland State, received a couple bachelor's degrees in business administration, human resources. Came back home, got a job at Amazon. Been working at Amazon for over 7 years now. I am now an infrastructure delivery manager in the organization. Something that I enjoy about Boardman is the consistency. I look at people in this room right now and I see the same people at youth events, at city events, coaching teams, great T-ball, soccer. I see the same faces over and over again. And there's a lot more people that are not in this room that serve the same purpose for our town. Which really shows Boardman that it takes a village. So I really enjoy the consistency with the people that are invested in our community.
Awesome.
My name is John Christie. I'm the principal at Riverside. I'm also the vice president on the Park and Rec Board. Also serve on the BDCA committee as well within our community development community. Let's see, I've been living in Boardman for close to 20 years now. And I would say that my favorite thing about Boardman is really, to me, kind of echoed a little bit. It's actually the people within Boardman and the willingness to be involved in anything that's kid oriented or driven for our community. I'm gonna give a good example, like on Sunday, like the community used the Riverside's facilities for a fundraiser for a family. Like that stuff just happens here. And I don't see that happening everywhere else. People are really committed to the people that are in Boardman and the development of Boardman as a whole. So I really appreciate that.
Would you say like commitment to community? That is what you're awesome. Thank you. This is
Hi, my name is Maithe, but you guys call me Gabby. I'm a current senior at Riverside High School. I'm very involved in school. I'm a speak president and secretary for Key Club. I participate a lot in school events. I'm very involved, which is something that I enjoy doing. I've been living in Boardman since the day that I was born, and something that I do see is that, like Mr. Chris said, everybody a part of the community works together and they're very dedicated. When we want to make something happen, it ends up happening, and everybody at Boardman always wants to work together as a group and they never give up, which is something that I do like about the community.
dedication, cooperation.
Yeah.
Okay, cooperate together. Dedication, cooperation. Thank you so much. Thanks for being here.
My name's Robin Canday, and I'm the Director for Public Health in Morrow County. And so thanks for the invite to this meeting. I'm excited to be here. And I actually live down in Hefner, but we have an office up here in Boardman, so I'm familiar with the Boardman area. I'm integrated in the Boardman area. So I would say for my community in Hefner or in Boardman, what I appreciate is the opportunities for people to live an active lifestyle and promote healthy living for public health. So we want to promote that. So yeah, I think there's a lot of outdoor activities and stuff that promote living a healthy lifestyle. So I appreciate that.
So active, like health and wellness, active lifestyle. Okay.
And I'm Jessica Calderon. I am with Morrow County Public Health. I am their lay health promoter and interpreter. I have been here in the Boardman community since like 1998. I try to become very involved in whatever I can. What I love about the Boardman community is how much it's grown, the diversity, and how people come together for whatever purpose comes around. Just like you, sorry, I don't like public speaking much. But I don't know, I just really like how we can all come together and help each other out. I enjoy helping whoever comes into the office find resources that they need, walk out with information that they might not have, and just try to help whoever I can. I think we're all very welcoming here in Boardman.
I like that word. So growth, diversity, and welcoming. Thank you again for sharing.
My name is Norma Ayala. I'm with the Boardman Parks and Rec. I'm on the board. And I've been here for over 30 years, almost 40. So I've seen the community change, and I like that we're willing to accept the change. Living here, when I was growing up, it was so small. It was very different than what you see now. So I think that our change is good, and we recognize that we need that growth and we need a change and we need to do things differently. So I think that the community kind of agrees with that. They're like, okay, it's time to change. let's do something different. Let's work together and put something on that's gonna bring more people into town.
Welcome change and maybe progressive.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
My name is Mike Connell. I own my own business, maintenance, residential, commercial maintenance. My wife works here at City Hall. I'm on the planning commission. And, I've been here since, we moved here in 1977. I was in, sixth grade. And so I've been here, well, I left for a long time, but my family's been here forever. My mom owned the beauty shop in town for her and my sister, her and I, the two of them switch back and forth. One of them get tired, she'd sell it to her. The other one get tired, she'd sell it back. That happened about 6 times, yeah.
I love her.
And, I think the thing that I like the most about Boardman is it went a long time where we stayed super small. No amenities that tried to bring people to live here, although we had the port with all the jobs, everybody was getting on the freeway and going back to Hermiston, going to Tri-Cities, going somewhere, and our commitment to change that is something to be proud of, but yet we still maintain the small town feel with the community. Because the ability for people to put something together to help a family that needs it quickly is amazing. And I've lived in a lot of places and I've never seen anything like it. But yeah, we're still wanting to, get up with the big boys, just keep that small town feel sort of. And that's got nothing to do but with the people in the town.
It sounds like small town feel,
Mhm.
but committed to growth.
Yep.
And then was it Melissa?
Lisa.
Lisa, sorry, Lisa. Can you introduce, right on the spot, can you introduce yourself? We've just been asking people to introduce yourself.
Everybody probably knows me, Lisa Middlestorf. I've lived in Boardman my entire life. You can have my whole history. My family's been here 100 years. Active, officials and committed to our community, hoping to get the next generation to continue that on. I actually worked here 40+ years ago. So, been a couple summers working for the city and have been at the port ever since. Obviously, development is what I do. And so very interested in growth, and there's probably not a park in town that I haven't either had a child on or coached a team on. So yeah, I'm very actively involved. Karen Pettigrew and I went and took a group of kids with us for several years to secure a state park grant to build an outdoor sports complex, and I would love to see that completed before I die. That would be great.
So something you love about Boardman is the committed officials, dedicated officials, like leadership. Is that what do you like about Boardman? Can you?
Well, it's my home and I chose to make this my home. I could have lived anywhere I wanted and I came back here to raise my family, and I'm now watching my children raise their children here. So I love the sense of community here and there's so much potential. I always say we're just on the cusp of growth, and we really are.
Sense of community. I see that as a common theme throughout all of your comments tonight. Thank you so much. We have one person online, Dawn. Do you want to introduce yourself and share something you love about your community?
Sure. Hello, everyone. I am Dawn Hurt. I am the Eastern Oregon Regional Rep with the Department of Land Conservation and Development. Thanks for inviting me to be along for this ride. I do cover the 10 most eastern counties in Eastern Oregon. And obviously you guys are one of those counties or cities that are involved or are included. Boardman, to me, growing up in the Dalles, it was always just a nice stop to grab a burger on the way. When one thing, you guys have all kind of hit it, you've seen such substantial growth, but you still have that hometown feel and that hometown pride. When my kids were little, we used to come to the park for the 4th of July celebration, and it was like no other. I still compare other communities to the pride and love that I saw in that community. So I'm kind of excited to see how this all turns out. So thanks for having me here.
Hometown feel and pride. Hometown pride. Awesome. Thank you, Dawn. Great. So that was a really nice introduction for me, not being from Boardman, to just see the love of your community and for our team. Because we were brought on to really represent your interests, and you're here to represent the interests of the community as a whole. And so we want to hear your voice. We want to elevate the voices of maybe people that haven't been represented in the past or need to be elevated. And so we're really excited to be joining you for this process, and thank you for your commitment. You should have all received a letter. Hopefully you read through it, just talking about some of your roles. And so we're going to go over that today, just a review of the agenda. The purpose of this meeting is kind of introduce you to the project, introduce our team to you, define, go ahead.
You guys need to introduce.
I was just gonna say that, we don't know.
We don't know any of these.
Go ahead.
I'll kick it off.
Yeah, there you go.
Nate Otani here, a principal at Shapiro Didway. We're landscape architects and we are the lead consultants for this project. Very excited to be here, very excited to kick off this planning process and the PAC Meeting series. And learn more from your community. What I love about Boardman was the opportunity today to get to tour all of your diversity and recreational resource assets and help you start to inventory those and to continue to grow those assets and improve on this already wonderful community.
I'm Bonnie Giosick. I'm a project director with Echo Northwest. I'm also a member of the Governor's Council of Economic Advisors. And I am a former chair of the Parks Board in my community. So I'm former chair of the Portland Parks Board. So I bring that lens as well. And I'm excited as well. We had saw some amazing park assets that we hope to build upon and enhance. And we could really feel the small town, you know, the sense of pride and the sense of real commitment to the community. That's really present here. So thanks for having us. Excited to be here.
Hello, my name is Aaron West. I'm with Shapiro Didway. I'll be assisting the project as a senior associate. I enjoyed the I guess the one-on-one time in community members' cars today, touring everyone's assets, and be a fun part. Just excited to be a part of the project and what the visioning entails.
I'm Mario Martin. I'm also with Shapiro Didway. I'll be assisting on the project over its course. It's great to be here. I went to school not far from here up in Pullman, so I'm familiar with this region. But I've never really known much about Boardman, so I'm happy to learn as much as I can.
And Giselle Champeau, also with Shapiro Didway. I'll be the project manager for this project and point of contact for our team. And you'll see a lot of me between now and the end of this 9-month process that we're going to outline to you today. So we're excited, likewise excited. I don't know a lot about Boardman. I've been reading through a lot of past planning efforts and learning a lot, but there's a lot for us to learn. And so we come to the table here with our ears wide open to really try to listen so that the product at the end of this really helps shape a vision for growth in your recreational assets and parks for the district and city. So thank you for giving us your time. So now jumping to agenda, I'm going to try to move pretty quickly through this so we can stay on schedule and respect your time. The purpose of the meeting, this is a planning effort, essentially to inventory your park assets, both at the district and the city level, then to generate, understand the community needs. So you'll be our first point of contact, and then you're representing the community as a whole. But we also will reach out with community meetings, community surveys, and different avenues. We'll engage with the community to assess what the community really wants and desires. Then we'll move forward into creating capital improvement projects, maintenance projects, a series of projects that can then be documented and prioritized. You'll help prioritize which one of these improvements or these projects should be first. And we're with the goal of creating a plan that will a 10-year plan. So that's kind of the end goal, is to map out district and city growth, recreational growth over the next 10 years. I'll go to the next, we'll go over community roles and responsibilities. You should have gotten that in your letter, but we'll just review them quickly. Can we move Dawn? Awesome.
Yeah, we can move Dawn. We can move Dawn. Not a problem.
But
Dawn, we're moving you.
just some meeting guidelines. We've worked with a lot of different groups over the years. Sometimes things can get really emotionally charged. And so we just like to talk about some meeting guidelines, just to make sure we're all on the same page. We would appreciate just to minimize disruptions, try to be on time. We're gonna try to respect your time and not have the meetings go too long. If we can end them early, we're gonna try to do that. But try to silence your devices so you can be focused and present. Collaborate with purpose. We're stronger together when we bring a spirit of co-creation to our discussion. And so you've already highlighted you have a lot of community value. You do things together. So I know that this is not going to be a problem for this group. Seek common ground, and listen carefully. We're going to try to listen to you. And so in the room here, we can listen to each other. Share the air. We're going to try really hard to elevate everybody's voice here. So you might have a lot to say, but sometimes we might have to move on to somebody else, and we'll come back to you. We'll try to hear what everybody has to say, but we want to share the air so everybody can participate. Criticize ideas, not people. This is a brain dump. We're throwing out ideas, and we're going to see where they land, and if we can get consensus at the end of the day. So ideas are great. Let's share those ideas and focus on the ideas, not each other. Speak authentically. So speak for yourself or for an organization that you represent. Please try not to speak for others. That will bring a lot of value to the table. And then media inquiries, let's direct anything. Another project, you might be approached by media. I'm not sure how present the media is here, but let's direct it to Carla if you get media inquiries so that there's an official outlet for media for the project. Any questions? Okay. Roles and responsibilities. So about 7 core roles that you're playing. Community representation. So you're each here representing yourself as a community member, but you're also here representing the greater community as a whole and perhaps organizations that you work for, you sit on boards for. So you're representing those interests as well. Your input is an advisory input. So this is a team effort. We're collaborating with you to create this end vision. We're here to get to review things. So you will get packets before these meetings. It would be really helpful if you can look at that packet information before you come so that you can come with a lens that you've reviewed it and you're ready to share your comments on it. Public engagement. We really need your help in advocating for this project. So we're going to have community meetings. We're going to distribute community surveys. We want to define focus groups. We need your help reaching people. So we're going to network through you to get the word out about this project. So when we're collecting input, we can really cast a wide net. Advocacy and communication. Again, you're going to be your project ambassadors for this project in your community. You're going to promote it. And then implementation review. At the end of this, we talked about we're going to have projects. So we need your help on prioritizing them and defining what those projects are that are going to be published in this final report. Schedule. This is a 9-month project. We're roughly dividing it into 4 phases. Right now we're in the research phase. So we're kind of collecting from past planning efforts as much information as we can. We're getting information from you. We've gone and done a site visit. We're going to talk about some policy issues that were presented to us when we scoped this project. That's part of our discussion tonight. Inventory needs and assessment, develop recommendations, and then we'll do the final plan. To the right, there'll be 4 public advisory committee meetings. We have set the dates. Hopefully these all work. So if there's any major conflicts, let us know, but we've cleared them for the most part with the consultant team in the city and the district. And then there'll be 2 community meetings. And so these are our targets for those dates. If you can mark those calendars and try your hardest to be present and bring as many people with you as you can. That would be really appreciated. Go ahead.
The one thing I want to confirm is that the time works for everybody. Is there a better time? We've slated 5 to 7 because we recognize that some of you work, but we also recognize that some of you do this as part of your job, and this time may be conflicting. So is 4 to 6 better? Is 2 to 4 better? And we don't have to make that decision tonight, but I want you all to know that that is open to conversation. And we did this at 5 to 7 because it kind of worked for our day today. I'm glad you're all here, but I will be reaching out probably through an email to you all and just saying, hey, is 5 to 7 right? Or should something else be better? So we don't have to make that decision today, but
And we could do a doodle, maybe send out a request and we can poll you and see which timeframes work better. If you could suggest some timeframes to Carla, that would work better, please send them to her and then maybe we'll send out a doodle so everybody can, we can poll you what works the best for people, if that
Yeah.
works. So 6 meetings total, plus I know more of your time. So thank you. It's a commitment. We're asking a lot of you, but I think the impact potential is pretty large. Next slide. So we're gonna just spend a few minutes talking, our public outreach. You're part of our public outreach, this committee, community engagement meetings, community surveys, but our next step is really going to focus group level. And so here we've got a list of categories of focus groups that we'd like to identify. And we've started to pull out, you know, the city and the district, the Port of Morrow, county agencies, the core. We'd like you to look at that list. Who are we missing? Who could we add to that? Who can we engage with when we have targeted conversations with different groups that we should add to the list and reach out to? So just spit them out and we're gonna write them on the board over here. So please, we'll spend just a few minutes doing that. Churches, okay. And is there contacts, like leadership that could be made available?
Yeah. Yeah. There's half dozen churches in town. So there's the Catholic Church, there's the Baptist Church just right over here, the Mormon LDS Church. Yeah.
Okay. Any other suggestions?
I know you have the Chamber of Commerce up there and the farmers market coordinators, but maybe this group would be a good group to ask if there's other CBOs that we should be reaching out to directly.
Boardman Community Development Association is not here.
Yeah, the chamber, they're on event organizers between Chamber of Commerce and farmers. I don't even, there is a farmers market coordinator here in town. Boardman Community Development Association, BCDA.
Okay.
She's invited. She's supposed to be here.
Yeah, Tori.
Yeah, Tori's on the list, so.
Okay. Is there any youth? We'd love to engage more fully with youth. And we're gonna talk about that in a second. Is there any school groups or that we could engage with?
You said you're involved with Key Club, right?
So we could do Key Club,
Is that KEY?
Mhm.
Okay.
yeah, ASB and then leadership as well. And then I know a couple people from like youth church groups as well, because I know she mentioned church, so that could also be an idea.
Okay. Did you get all of them? Key Club, I heard Key Club leadership,
ASB.
ASB.
FFA would also be a good one.
Yeah, FFA would be good.
Okay.
Does 4-H still exist? Yeah, I was just thinking.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
have a good, strong 4-H group.
4-H is younger, FFA is older.
I think this is separate, leadership is separate.
Okay.
FFA and then 4-H. And those are all youth specific? Okay, okay. We've talked to Brandon potentially, so we can come back to this, but since we're talking about youth, we've had a couple ideas of opportunities we could engage youth, maybe even in the district, go into the school, if that's Brandon was mentioning that maybe we could organize something with a school. But there's several parks that don't have names. So maybe a park naming exercise with the students, like a competition. But if there's other creative ways to engage with you, that's one. Design your dream park, that would be another way. We worked with a school recently where the students actually went in and surveyed fellow students. So we'll produce a survey, but you could go in and survey, maybe interview as advocates in your school district. Those are just a few ideas that we had, so we can elevate that voice of the youth in the district. But if there's other ways you think we can creatively engage with youth, we'd love to hear them.
Too, I don't know, maybe Robin and Jessica, maybe you might know, are there, is there a student health center at the high school? Or maybe is there some kind of like Veggie RX or WIC type outreach program through public health? That might.
We do have WIC,
WIC,
but we don't have a student-based health center, only down in Iowa. We have.
How do you work through I mean, you guys do the like distribution yourselves, if you have caseworkers?
No, they have their own caseworkers, yeah,
Yeah, when it comes to our facility and uses,
but they aren't a part of.
yeah.
Oh, I see.
They're the,
That's not a.
not a, Umatilla. Start.
Yeah, it used to be connected to Head Start.
Right.
And it's
Still are, but they sort of.
as far as reaching the community, we've worked with like food delivery, like over the summer. Kids providing lunches for kids at home, there were delivery services like that. And we would go and we'd show up at that event where you're distributing food and we'd pass out surveys or talk to people. Is there opportunities like that to distribute information or to engage in a smaller scale like that with community members, whether it's sticking a little flyer in a food delivery packet or something like that?
Yeah, we could work at food pantry.
Okay.
We drove past it today. I didn't point it out though, sorry.
No, I mean, this is why we're having this conversation.
Also, the daycares in town, and the schools, the preschools.
Okay, and those are by the rec center,
There's one,
There's two there, and then there's one down in the.
there's a private, learning center. She runs out of her home.
okay,
Great one. I think it's the best one in town. And then there's, Nana's babysitting out of her home also.
Nona's,
Nana's.
Nana's. Do you want to write those down? We'll maybe get the contact information.
And
CDC,
Union.
over by the fire department.
That's one thing I should say, the law enforcement or fire department EMS representation, because they are in every, every corner of the city. I don't know if George wants to be I know you used to be, but
That's the key word.
used to be.
No, that's great. And we try to make that a part of our focus group discussion, law enforcement, fire, and EMS. That's a great idea to do that. That provide critical information about, what happens in the call center, what's the most typical, is it vandalism? Is that the most common call you get in your park system? They can give us kind of that background. All right, there's a large workforce community here. So we're trying to think of ways to be creative, engaging with the workforce community. Do you have any ideas of how to do that?
The Port has a workforce development department,
Okay,
we do full-time staff.
okay. And is that over next to the rec center? Is that where no, separate? Okay,
It's at the port offices.
okay,
So when we were down at marker 40.
Yep.
Park, the lodge and the port offices are there, so.
so maybe providing information or a flyer that can be posted or a way, maybe even, I don't know if you've got a lunch break
A
or,
lot of outreach.
okay, that would be great. Okay, let's mark that down.
I'd even say at the sporting events and concerts.
Hmm.
Right. Surveys.
Oh.
Links to surveys at least.
For events.
Assemblies, we just did that at the assembly.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so distribute the information at community events. Okay, great, great.
And at the library.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And you have an Amazon employee here, Taylor.
How does that, can we put a flyer with your deliveries or is that not legal? But what about the Amazon? And there's not a large, is there a large workforce for Amazon here? I know the port, there's a very large workforce for Amazon as well. Is there a way to engage more effectively with that workforce community?
Yeah, we have a in communities team, dedicated to community service. They sponsor a lot of events in town. I have plenty of contacts to point you that way.
Great. So in communities team?
In communities, yeah.
Okay, communities team with Amazon?
And just so you know, there's 3,000 Amazon employees.
Oh. That was not what I was, in Morrow County as a whole. Okay,
The Sage Center be a place to kind of just get some information? I know.
Yeah, it would be.
Students through there and stuff.
The students that go in every day,
Yeah.
from Windy River, they go into things
great.
and spend their whole day there.
Sage Center?
Did you guys get to tour it? You should.
We saw the playground. We saw what was outside, but probably come back and take the next trip. We were sprinting between sites today. You, Dawn, have any thoughts on effective public engagement?
I think everything that's been stated is exactly what I would say. So no, great, everything sounds good. Nothing to add.
So I know that there's a very large Spanish speaking population here. You're a majority city. All of our promotional meeting and our community meeting and the executive summary of our report will be translated into Spanish. That's a priority of the city and the district to provide that. But we'd love to also explore ways to engage with the Spanish speaking community effectively. Trust is really important. We're bringing part of our consultant team, Noelia Ruiz, and she's going to work with some of the city staff and district staff members in kind of that outreach. But we want to make sure that we're building on trust that's already been established in the community and elevating that voice too. So if you've got any input on that, lastly, love to hear it.
I was also thinking the chamber, the talk with Tori, she goes online and she does these talks and they talk about what they want to do, and so that would be a good one.
Is it part of the chamber?
Commerce.
Okay. And she's on the advisory. Okay. Great idea. She can facilitate that. Okay. Awesome. Thank you all. Let's see. Let's move. If we're good, let's move along. We're only about 5 minutes behind. Whew, okay. So now we're gonna break up into 3 breakout groups, small groups. I can number you like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Did you get that? 1 stay here, or 3 stay here, because we'll have Dawn be part of 3s. 2s can go down to the conference room down here, and then 3 can be out in the common area out there. But before we split up, we're gonna discuss 3 targeted topics today, and I'm gonna have we're having 3 of my friends here, colleagues, that's the word. I was like, what's the word, colleagues? Are gonna lead those discussions. So I'll have Bonnie discuss recreational marketing.
Your friends.
Oh, they're counting? Okay.
Okay, try again.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I
Yeah,
thought.
just count. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, put it. Okay. Just evenly distribute to the groups.
That makes Donna 3, right?
So 3 stays here.
3 stays here. 2 goes in the small conference room. 1 goes in the common area. Not yet. Hang on. We're gonna introduce the 3 topics, what the purpose of these 3 discussions are, and then we're gonna split up. So I'm gonna have Bonnie introduce recreational market.
Is that 3?
That's 3.
3, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
we're just gonna be talking about the recreational market, well, but I want the thing I want you all to be thinking about here is thinking about the parks users. In terms of thinking about the assets and programming that's needed, both for the immediate community, and by immediate community, I mean mostly in terms of the city of Boardman. But then we've got sort of the larger regional area, right? So we need to think about the larger regional area being sort of more the Tri-County area, Morrow County, Wheeler County, Gillum County, as well as, some of the work that you all have done already, the parks, tourism assessment had done this work where they did these drive time isochrones, which is an approach that we also use. And you can see that there's the 30-minute, 60-minute, and 120-minute drive time isochrones that they developed for that work. We're going to be building off of that. But the thing I want you to think about here is that, there's a very big difference between who the immediate community is in terms of the city of Boardman and the needs and uses that they have for the parks and recreational assets, as well as this larger area. Because now I know that Boardman is growing very fast and is somewhere between 4,000 and 5,000 population now. It is unclear what that exact number is, but let's say even if it is 5,000 or even a little more, I want you to think about that blue area, which is 120-minute drive time isochrone, and it's got an estimated 850,000 people in it. So we need to think about, what are the uses of the immediate community and how is it different for the larger regional community? And then how is it even more different for the visitors coming through the area? And how can we make sure that the needs of the system balances the needs of all those users? So that's what we're going to be discussing in group 3.
So group 2, we'll be talking about policies. So these are policies that have been laid out by the Parks Department in the city and the Park District. And so what we're looking at there is those policies are going to be providing guidance and consistency for decisions for the master plan. And then what we're going to talk about specifically is like your ideas, your concerns, your questions related to those policies.
And should they be things we consider in this planning effort, or should they not? Are they relevant to this planning effort, or are they not? So your thoughts on that?
So the third group, we looked at a bunch of parks today and we looked at the existing conditions and what's there. So with the third focus group, we'd like to hear from you about the various maintenance and safety concerns there might be at the parks that you're familiar with. Also, the amenities that exist there, what would you like to see? Are there any, things you might suggest that could be added? And also assets of these various parks, like, they are on the waterfront or maybe they're near City Hall. We can talk about that as well. So I just want to get your input on those 3 things.
So the groups, you can disperse to your respective spaces. You're going to stay in place and we will be rotating. So you don't have to worry about moving until at the end. We'll come back together and kind of do a concluding summary. Okay.
Where's you going again?
You can follow me.
Okay.
You need to follow me. I feel like I'm teaching some lessons.
Three in here.
Oh, one.
Whatever, it doesn't matter, yeah.
I thought you said
One day somewhere.
I thought you, 3, 2, 1?
Yeah.
three.
Three.
I'm 3.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to bring pizza, we're here.
Yeah, bring your pizza.
I've been inside to hang out with you.
Awesome.
For the, let me know what I can do to help.
Okay, Dawn, have fun in here. I'm leaving.
Yeah. That's gonna be helpful. Sorry.
Thanks, Carla.
Try and grab that one. Right, there's not.
Oh.
Okay, we gotta go home. We gotta-
Let me smile.
Yeah.
I don't know. Good question.
I always do. Just.
From a group that we agreed to be on.
Went to go get in her group. And she didn't really.
You guys are all by yourself?
Okay, fine, guys. You're not 3?
No, I'm 3. I don't really end up in 2 3s, doesn't it?
I'm a 3.
This,
Oh, yeah.
I guess I'm right here. So
yeah, she should have been.
Yeah. Making sure we're. Okay, you could say, she came back.
Maybe we can,
This is not indicative of the entire project.
maybe we can push a couple tables together. Does that work? Kind of here in the middle? And gather around. Dawn, can you see and hear?
I wonder if we should position.
I
these
can't,
boards.
thank you.
Oh, because it's Dawn gonna be here, so we want to put the boards over here so you can see.
This is probably too far. Let me squeeze it over here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, let's
Trying
put
to-
it here so she can see.
I can close this.
I'm a little curious, but.
All right.
Like them in?
You see my salad?
No, well, I did. I was like, where did you get that ranch?
But I had a good salad.
I was wondering where you got the ranch from. Mhm.
Yeah, but these are for reference.
Yes, this is just the background information.
Mhm.
So, I think I'm gonna grab my laptop, so I can take notes.
I can take notes for you too.
Okay, thank you.
Next time.
So I want you guys to think a little bit about just the Boardman, the local area of Boardman. And what are the primary activities of the local users? And I'm so glad that we have George here because you're sort of the pro in this, right? I'm gonna see you as the, you're my district guy, you know how folks are using the rec center, marina, the day use area, all the different things. So I want to think about, and in terms of what Boardman local users are wanting from their parks and recreation system, right? Are they, what kind of activities are they doing? Are they, hopefully they like hiking because we've got that lovely heritage trail now partially developed and continuing its development. I know fishing is a big part of this community, right? I know that you've got the fishing here, the fishing tournaments. So these are from other work that you guys have had done in your community. So, I mean, I'm like looking at this and I'm like, gosh, there's 8 or 9 different fishing tournaments that occur in Marina Park, starting as early as April and going through to October even, right? And it looks like they draw an estimated 70 users for each of them. So obviously fishing is a big part of what's going on. Clearly access to the river generally is really important. I don't know how much bird or wildlife watching there is or cycling. We didn't see any cyclists, but it was pretty.
Yeah, today wouldn't be a good day for cycling, but we do get cyclists, and I would also say that not as many bird viewing in this area as we do in Erie. So, but regionally, there are areas that people.
And the refuge probably.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So I wanna think about those and I wanna think about, so the local area, and then I wanna think about the users that are regional and how they use the park and recreation system differently, right? So some things that how they interact with the parks and recreation system is going to be similar to what the local folks are doing, but I want you to think about how it's different, right? And I know Carla and George think about this all the time because in thinking about, what are the parks called? Wayside? The wayside parks and the fact that the dog park, you have a little bit of a concern of, well, how many people are just, coming off the freeway, using the dog park and then carrying on and maybe not cleaning up as well as a local user might, or things like that. So I know that these are things that y'all are thinking about. So I want you to think about the differences, the similarities and the differences of these kinds of users, because that's really going to affect how we think about planning for future assets and how we are, and programming as well. So let's start by thinking about this a little bit. So I guess key question that I want to know from y'all is, I mean, because City of Boardman, City of Boardman residents are paying City of Boardman taxes, right? So I'm assuming that that is basically the primary audience. Is that an accurate assessment of the situation? I mean, and clearly there are subgroups in that, youth, both youth and then elders who maybe need additional services. But one of the things that Carla had mentioned too was her desire to move into ensuring sort of like a lifelong engagement with the park system. Let me grab my little sticky notes because I want us to start thinking about this. I want people to shout things out and write them down.
So to answer your first kind of question about what the primary use that the town and the differences of the people that coming in out of town. I used to work at the hotel over by the river and they would always say that Boardman is like a hidden gem, especially for the people that come back every season. And they actually I feel like, us as residents, we take the marina for granted because we're like, oh, it's marina. But people that come from out, they use the water, they're in the water, they're in their jet skis, they're in their boats, they're in, their paddle boards, they're using all of that. And a lot of the people here in town don't really use that, especially because they're really expensive. I know I bought a set with like $300, $400 for two. A lot of people can't afford that, and they're not gonna afford that. They're not gonna pay just to go.
Sure.
Exactly. Yeah, they're not gonna pay for that. So I think that that's a kind of a difference that the locals don't use it as well.
So that's more of a regional situation, right?
Yeah, people coming in and using it for those reasons.
Mhm.
And I think I've even mentioned at the parks, like, we need to rent these things out.
Well,
That would-
and that's the thing, right? It's like, if there were an opportunity to rent a jet ski for an hour
yeah,
or two, you know, for,
Paddle boards, anything, yeah,
You know.
anything that, yeah.
to provide that level of access, you know, for a limited capital investment.
Yeah.
You know, to provide folks that opportunity.
Yeah, so I think that the people coming from out of town are using our walking paths more than the people that actually live here also. And I'm only going off based off of hearing from people from out of town from working at the hotel. And,
And which hotel is
I
it?
used to work at the River Lodge and Grill.
Okay, so is that the one
Down the river with the
right
blue
on
roof.
with the little cabins on the cabin?
Yes.
Yeah, and that's who you would see. I would never see anybody that I really knew out
Right.
there, so, now you're seeing that a little bit more, cause I still go out there and I have seen a lot more locals, which is kinda nice. It's like, hey, you know,
So yeah, so let me unpack that a little bit more. So that's not only just regional visitors, but it's also, so I mean, I'm thinking about the population in three levels, right? So local serving, regional serving, so people, you know, a little bit from a little bit further away, but still coming as like day users and whatnot. And then I'm thinking visitors.
visitors that come in. They always said this is the middle point of like from Spokane to Portland or, you know, this is
Right.
their middle, this is their stop, this is
Right.
where they stop.
I mean, it's a good place to stop between like Walla Walla or
Yeah.
wherever.
So for recreation, I'm just gonna go based off what I have seen the most. Our high school soccer teams always usually make it to state. So that's a huge thing in Boardman. That's one of the biggest sports. None of the other teams have made it to state in quite a while, so there tends to be more kids playing soccer than anything else. And right now we have I'm putting on a youth soccer indoor, because I know there's kids that don't want to play basketball. And so I open that up for those kids that only play soccer.
And are you doing that as a winter sport? So
I'm doing that as a,
winter.
yeah, as a winter sport, yes.
Nice.
Mhm.
Where do you put that on?
At the elementary schools, which is we need more space because I only have one day available because of basketball. So I only have a Friday available for that. So it's kind of like we need more space for
And which elementary school?
Sam Boardman Elementary and Windy River Elementary.
No, both of them.
Yes.
Oh, so you're doing it as after school or is it?
Basically not right after school. It's like an evening, 6 to 7
Gotcha.
PM.
Gotcha.
And then I'm also providing that for adult sessions as well. So, and that's the really nice thing.
And Nate's a soccer guy, okay, just let you
Yeah,
know.
okay.
Yes.
How'd you
All
know?
about soccer. Yeah, so we're doing that. It's our second year, and all the proceeds are gonna go to the Catholic Church to help them build their Catholic
Nice.
church. Yeah,
Nice.
again, community.
And you can do that at the elementary schools with just a regular conditional use permit, right?
I'm actually using the Boardman Parks and Rec.
Oh,
Yeah,
Provide the insurance coverage for them
oh, great,
for that.
great.
so if they break a window like they already did, the insurance
So you
cover-
guys provide the insurance, but it's it's a conditional use permit through the school.
Yeah, through the
Right.
schools.
And do they charge you rent?
No.
Oh, that's nice.
Mhm. Again, it comes back to if you go to Hermiston, they're gonna charge you for everything.
Yeah.
I used to play women's league and they charged $300 to use their field for, I think we had 4 games on that field.
Mhm.
And then here in Boardman, you use any field you want at any time you want.
Right.
Yeah,
It's an equity issue.
we had to pay insurance as well.
And do you see that no permit fee situation is an equity issue?
I think so, because there's a,
Yeah, and so this is something that's important too, right? Because from an equity perspective, right, no barriers, that's great. But then we also have a cost recovery issue, right? Because there are obviously costs associated with providing that insurance and providing the
Yeah.
space and providing.
and we did it last year and every year I've done it for free. And this year I said, you know what, we're gonna help the church, so we're gonna charge for that. But I think the parents are willing to pay for it, because it's not like $100. It's like $10, $20. So right now it's a
Phenomenal.
yeah. So it's not something outrageous, like, I'm not gonna say $40 is outrageous, but it kind of is for a single mom, especially if they have multiple children.
Right.
So it's, I mean, I know I had to choose, one kid could only play, so it was hard. So I think I tried to keep the cost down for those parents. We gotta think of everybody.
Sorry, you're saying such good stuff. I'm taking some notes here. Give me a minute. What other people think
Yes.
and yell out stuff too.
Go ahead, I'm done.
So, as a manager, I interview people a lot, and one of their main questions are, what is there to do for these people that live across the globe? Not really across the globe, across the nation here. And all of my recommendations tie back to our parks, our marina, our facilities with rec center. But mostly activities that go on through the marina. Now that it's only pretty much highlighted from spring to fall, right? You said October is kind of the latest date for fishing. That's pretty much the latest date for anybody out on the boat. We do have a lot of water activity that I don't know if we really take advantage of. When I stop in to charge my Tesla in Hood River, I walk down on the river and I text my family chat, why can we not have this in Boardman? I know why. Population makes sense, money makes sense. But every time I go to Hood River, it makes me wanting more for Boardman.
And by that, you mean you're talking about the kind of vibrancy that they have in the downtown that's largely driven by the water recreation?
I'm talking about the waterfront area, so
Waterfront
not necessarily downtown, but the waterfront area.
Uh-huh.
There's
in the water
there are
recreation.
hundreds of people walking around any day in Hood River. There's dog parks down there, there's green spaces. And then there's water activities. Obviously, very popular windsurfing spot. Along with windsurfing rentals. I was unaware that the park stopped renting stand-up paddleboards or kayaks or canoes or anything like
They're
that.
coming back.
That's a great action item.
Yeah.
Regardless, but I love going places. Went to Lost Lake. There's plethora of, hey, let's rent a John boat. Let's go out. Rowboat all the way out and see Mount Hood. I would like Boardman to kind of be that piece for people's trips. Like she said, people travel here, they think of Boardman as a hidden gem. They camp here for weeks long during the summer, for 4th of July. The travel aspect, we've got it down. We're a great hidden gem. How can we elevate that really? From the parks perspective, it's hard because a lot of it might be business driven. That might be working with the city of Boardman to attract business to our waterfront space. And if that land is even acquirable. But I think that needs to be a start. Every time I go to the Riverfront Lodge, I take my friends out to lunch there. It's the same exact thing. I'm sitting waterfront thinking, this is it. This is all I can do in this area. Then I need to go down to the marina and walk around. I have a path to walk from the lodge to the marina, but this is all I can do in this area is drive in my car, eat, and then drive my car.
Do this, write it on here. Can't do that. Go this way.
Things to do along the path. And the river.
And I know that at some point that could have been a sports complex. Right, that would have attracted tons of people.
Right.
We could still have those things.
Oh, yeah, we can, yep.
But depending on, yeah.
Yeah.
things, but, we need more activities in this town. All the activities that I can think of off the top of my head are tied to the park.
And I do agree with that. I feel like Boardman as a community, we are really involved, but there's not much stuff to do around the area. And like we have the river and everything, and like Norman said, like if we were able to like rent jet skis or boats and stuff like that, I feel like it would really get people to actually enjoy and to actually get to
The
go like,
locals.
yeah, like in Hawaii or like Mexico and stuff like that, like they allow you to rent stuff like that, and like there's tons of people, but that's because they're not paying so much money for a boat, and they could actually rent it out, and especially like us, like my like us in high school, whatever. We want to go out, we want to do stuff, but there isn't many things to do. We have to go to like Hermiston, or we have to go to Tri Cities to able to do something, and like a lot of the guys here like to go fishing, but there's not really much to fish here or like a lot of activities to do. So I feel like if we did more with the park, it would really engage, especially us, to be out more in the community and actually be able to do stuff, because all we could really do is like, oh, like, yeah, we could go out and get food or something, but it would be nice if there was like more stuff around the park, or like more hiking trails or something like that, to actually get everybody more involved in the community.
Is there a different focus group on like the current assets that we have? Is that a different focus group?
So,
Like arcade.
so the three is yeah, so there's the existing park infrastructure question, which I think Mario's doing.
Yes.
Yeah. And so we're gonna move.
Sure. I just kind of, she kind of made a point of people wanting to fish, maybe. We have plenty of fishing in Boardman specifically, but wanting to go to other areas to experience different venues.
All right, guys, 1 minute.
Okay, on the clock.
So,
Okay, go ahead.
Don, did you have anything? So what I have so far,
I just have one, and it's kind of to go on what was just been said, and being somebody that has come and used the facilities in Boardman for many years, there's not enough. And there's a lot of people that, like me, I live in the gorge, but I just want to go on a little trip. And there was a lot of people from the Portland area, so it's just like, there needs to be more. And I think you guys have all said that, there just needs to be something more, because people want to come and people want to visit the area and be in this wonderful part of Eastern Oregon. And I just think that there's just not the quantity there. I think you guys were getting to that point where you're building so much, and just looking at the employment and all the opportunities in the area. It's just trying to keep up with that recreational component and being a tourist type town.
Yeah, and well, I don't see it as also trying to create a tourist town. I think we need to take care of the people that are invested in this community and town as well. Longtime community member here. The best thing food wise that we've gotten outside of what was already here is what, Subway. I was like, that has nothing to do with this conversation, but the people in this town also long for more. Us consistently having to drive into Hermiston or Tri-Cities, spending that additional money, especially with inflation through the recent years, to just get out and do something new. We don't have that opportunity anymore.
Yeah, definitely expand everything. I feel like we have like a lot of coffee shops and like a lot of like the same stuff here. So I feel like if we were able to expand it more, because like we have like C&D and Mercados, like, yeah, but it would be nice to have other places that people could actually go and enjoy, or like people that travel out of town to actually have somewhere nice to go eat.
have a destination.
Yeah, because like you said, we have to drive to Hermiston, Tri-Cities, or like around other areas to actually be able to go get food, or to actually be able to do other activities. And maybe probably also like expanding the rec center, because we have the gym there and like swimming and stuff, but definitely like if we were able to expand it and have more activities to do there, I feel like a lot more people would go.
Yeah, and I think that what you've described, right, to activate the waterfront, to activate, parts of the area that you want to see utilized. Big challenge, of course, is, with the pandemic, it really was brutal on a lot of the sort of more public facing, the food service type activities. And they're also competing for workforce they can't even find servers in some cases. So the challenge is balancing, it needs to make something that makes sense for those businesses as well. But I think that these are all really great. But here's the things that I have written down. So water recreation, gear rental, more soccer facilities, including indoor, activate the waterfront. Anything else that you think is really important that we didn't capture yet?
Oh, I do want to see, what is this tarping over the playgrounds.
Oh, yeah, because it gets really hot.
Some shades,
Mhm.
start the sales or, one thing real quick, I would really love to see a major park on the side of the highway. Sorry, I guess we're technically on the side of the freeway, over on this area of town, we have most of the population is on the side of town. Would really like to see something there. Even major, could be sports complex.
Something,
Bringing activity to this other side of town as well. We have multiple trailer courts, apartment complexes over here, along with packed in sardine neighborhoods and all the brand new developments are on this side of town. We don't have a single green space outside of this small playground outside City Hall here. That the city of Boardman and park should be looking into.
to ensure geographic distribution of the park assets as well.
I do agree with you. Cause like when I was helping out for investor kids and like we would help the kids outside, it was really fun. It was really rad,
Yeah,
like
my kids were
dehydrated.
Yeah.
Like,
All right, guys.
Right.
Thank you.
There's lots of great things to say.
All right. Now we're moving. Okay. No.
Did we even get any of this?
Yes, because we referenced a lot of it, even though we didn't talk about any of the specifics.
And these tables are all in your packet,
Yeah,
if you want to look at information later. And it's also like a 100-page planning study, but we tried to extrapolate
Yeah, we didn't send you the whole thing.
useful information.
Yeah, we'll get tables in.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
So we were having group play, I don't think that.
Gotcha.
Just put dots next to some of the things that they thought were really important.
Yeah.
We can decide.
Like reinforce. I have some docs.
Yeah.
You have, okay.
We've got some. When I give them. Take a couple. There you go. Right. Help me the scribe over here. Okay.
That is a
gonna
weak,
put it
that
on
is a
this
weak, that is a weak link.
I'm gonna put it on this
Well,
one.
we have two of them.
Oh, there's two of them. Great.
There's another one outside.
I'm
Get
already.
a third one if you want a third one.
I'll go grab the other one out.
Or we can just put it on the table.
We'll do that because we want people
Do
to
that.
stick it on.
You wanna get them oriented and I'll take some of these ideas and write them down.
Okay.
I'm gonna get rid of the sticky notes.
So we're talking about policies, so policies are guiding principles for the park system moving forward. Some policies that we have, that the Parks Department, the Parks District and the city have laid out are hours of operation and lighting in special use and community park facilities, accessibility and ADA compliance, park design, and park renovation compliance. And then there's also sustainability, resiliency and environment. That's one policy category. Then there's the integration of electrical mobility devices, recreational, so like e-bikes, e-scooters. And then the other one is enhancement of the BPA facility or the BPA lines and environmental preservation areas. So what we did previously is people wrote down some ideas that is important to them that are associated to these policy items. For park design and renovation compliance, people talked about pets, park names, running in a park, accessibility, talked about it, is accessibility important to you? Access to these different facilities? Is lighting important? Signage important? Is hours of use important? What ideas you might have associated to them? I don't think I have any.
I have a question, on the policies, anywhere is there anything about, developments, you know how they have that green space? Are those house developments, do they have to develop that green space into a, playground?
Your development standards do not articulate that. It's strictly a dedication of green space. And so part of the reason the city's asking you to talk about this particular policy is how is the current way you dedicate green space adequate for the city needs,
Yeah.
community needs? And if it's not, how do we make it adequate?
Yeah.
So why is it failing the community? So, but we'd love to hear why it's failing your current system, which is simply the dedication of, there's X amount of acres, you have to dedicate a percentage of park space. That's it.
And that's what we need to, yeah,
That's
because
the
all
only
the
thing.
green space that I'm seeing right now and all the new home developments that they're making with their HOAs, there's nothing there for the kids, there's just green space, there's no
Yes.
play structure.
Yes.
So I think that's something that's important, maybe that the city can put as a policy that if you're gonna build, if you're gonna develop here, then you actually need to put a play structure in, not just a green space.
And is play the only priority? Is there other amenities you want to see on that site? As far as,
Kind of like out here, I don't know if you remember seeing the little, like a little, hut area with the bench and the table. I mean, something like that for
okay,
community to come in and have like a little barbecue and stuff like that.
okay. So community amenities, yeah, so some codes, City of Boardman doesn't, they've got space allocation, and then they have a minimum of 3 play features. 3 distinctly different play features, plus X amount of seating. So, yeah, I think revamp it, being more specific, I'm hearing, with the requirements.
Yeah, because I know there is one also that used to have play structures and now that play structure is gone. There's no swings, there's nothing there except for green space and trees.
Okay,
And I think that's the, might not be the Zulu. I don't remember what
Yeah.
it's called.
that's, you got that? I can read it, or I can scratch. Oh, so to be very quiet.
Yeah, and it's almost every little location has its own park, like this one, these people, and then the River Ridge, they've got a green space with no play structure. Tuscany's got a green space, no play structure. I know you guys, I saw one of the city hall meetings that you guys were talking about, you guys should have this green space over where you live,
Yeah.
Mount Adams and Mount Hood. But there's actually no green space there, so.
We saw. Site,
Hillview.
oh, Hillview, yes,
Hillview
yes, okay.
And I couldn't
So
figure out where
cool.
that is.
Is that the triangular space?
Yeah.
Site, okay.
It's,
Okay,
Paul Smith. So like,
so that one where
so
the,
when you're starting to go to Bella Vista,
uh,
right, all the, well,
yeah,
All the,
not that half the land, but
well,
the
there's a
other.
bunch of stuff there, so I don't
Well,
know.
that's ours, but
Yeah.
the rest,
So it's hard to
keep it-
tell which one is supposed to be the green space and which one is a property
yeah.
that's owned.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yes, and that's been in park, that's been dedicated city property for decades, is what we heard today,
Yeah.
and nothing's been done, okay. So developing these sites,
developing them. yes.
period,
Mhm,
and
period.
not just leaving them.
Yeah, that was,
It's not just the green
this
space.
this has been a city topic that's been very hot for the last 3 months.
yeah, I liked looking at the deed. Saw it was signed in 1994, the year I was born, signed by my grandmother.
Thanks, Grandma.
So Hillview is an example, but actually develop the site. Don't just leave it as open space, if it's green space, yeah. What's your thoughts on Hillview as a dedicated park asset? Is it an important green space? Could it be used better?
Yeah, because right now it's not being used. at all.
Currently, it's not being used.
It's not-
I just spoke to this before the other group shifted. A large population of Boardman, population of children are on this side of the freeway, and we don't have a single play space. outside of right here, the city hall. Parents, apartment complex, Bella Vista, Wilson Trailer Court, all of these neighborhoods behind the grocery store. They want their children to go outside.
Well, but-
Why are we giving them an avenue to just walk out and go outside to a park? Where they're not having to pack up kids in the car seats and get them across town.
So walking, accessible park space within walking distance for families is a strong priority.
And I think, like I mentioned, every little neighborhood has its own green space. They just don't have a structure.
Yeah, like where I live, it's Eagle Drive, so kind of like.
Under a ridge.
Yeah. And there's so many kids in the street playing, like they could literally get hit by cars. So I feel like if there was like at least like some sort of like park and play area, it would be good. So then the kids could actually have somewhere to play and not be on the side of the road or being risked by getting hit by someone, especially because a lot of people drive really fast into their driveway. So I think having like a park around that area too would be good.
Yeah, not just children, parents want exercise too, adults want exercise
Yeah.
too. Do they wanna walk all the way across town over a bridge down into the marina to play? Probably not.
I think it.
If it was within immediate reach to where, kind of sort of like the Riverfront Park in Herms. It's a beautiful running trail, beautiful park, just for adults to also go and get their, steps in as well. We have a great trail at the marina.
But that's on the other side, but that's on the other side.
Trail at the marina.
On the other way.
On the north.
What about some of these other,
Yeah, the ADA, I'm huge on that.
or even just access for not just those with mobility impairments, but is there maybe a senior demographic or parents with wheelchair, strollers? Like rolling their kids to a site.
A lot of them.
Yeah.
What are some things that you see as far as site accessibility that's should be addressed?
Should be addressed. The bridge on the walking trail, I don't know if you've addressed that already. Okay, never mind.
So the
It's actually getting replaced.
Okay, getting replaced.
Well,
What is that? The bridge and the,
yeah, there's a bridge along the trail that at the the Y where the road splits and you come over the railroad tracks, just below that.
I saw it, yeah. It's what,
Needs repaired.
okay.
We're just gonna replace it.
The brown one?
We had a problem when a worker get hurt, not one of ours, one of his workers was running and tripped and there was nails all over it.
Okay,
It's like my deck in my house.
yeah, that's probably,
I need to replace it.
So, being on the Parks and Rec Board, I've always wanted to have, kind of like what Hermiston has, they have those swings where they can put the kids in that are in wheelchairs, they're able to swing on that. I don't know what else they have, but I would love to see that because even though we don't have a lot of kids that are in wheelchairs, we do have them. So I would like to see that in Kelly.
it's accessible play features.
For all kids.
And is there, go ahead, sorry. Taking over, Aaron, go ahead.
I think it's hard to get into, let's see, might not be this one. It's hard for maybe a grandparent or anybody in a wheelchair to get into maybe the one here in City Hall. Or any walking paths, like the walking path at the marina over by the fish cleaning station. You're in rocks. You're going into the rocks, and how are you gonna wheelchair into that?
So surfacing,
general accessibility surfacing.
It's a problem with strollers as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
Not necessarily an accessibility issue, but
it is, but for universal,
Oh, sorry.
access, that's a principle.
something different. I like that shade is up here. Boardman gets very hot. And we have no trees to cover, really. Having more, yeah, it's already written down there, shade, but
We
Underline.
took.
having more benches with shades, kind of like out here, I think is a great way, thing to implement in more parks. People wanna go outside. They don't wanna go outside 115 and get their bald spot sunburnt like me. But they definitely wanna be outside. Shade is great to have.
Shade really,
Outside is healthy.
yeah, even around where the parents are sitting, around the play structure in the at the Marina Park, I know I wouldn't even want to sit because I'd get burnt,
Yeah.
even if it's wood.
Exposed,
Like,
really exposed, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, definitely more like shelter and shade at the arena. Like I get, like I know there's the benches and stuff like that, but you can't really see your children that far away from a distance.
Yeah, and I think they only have like 2 or 3 benches around it, but it's like, we're like, we need an umbrella.
What about, so you've got little kids, but as you get older, what's attracting kids to use the park? Youth to use your existing park system, and what could attract that, make it more accessible or draw people?
Oh, I know we use the park a lot for soccer because we're really big on that. Same with cross country. We've had a couple athletes that's gone state for it. Volleyball tournaments, we're huge on volleyball as well. Fishing as well. That's something that we're really interested in here. So I definitely think having more space would be very helpful as well. And just having more things that like, especially like around my age that we could do, 'cause there really isn't much. And then especially because we have so many people that are so involved in sports and they actually enjoy it and like she's doing like the youth one, like inside of the gym. So like during the summertime, like people want to be outside and play soccer, but it's kind of hard and it's super hot outside.
Yeah,
Do you think this hours of operation,
And lighting especially is.
do you think,
I think that would be good.
and how, in what way, like, lighting sports fields, lighting play areas, lighting walkways? How do you think that that could be addressed, that policy, or should be addressed?
What do you, I guess, let's look for some context here, George, on lighting in, let's say the marina. What is currently lit and what's not lit? Off the top of my head.
Nothing's literally
Nothing's
lit
lit.
except for parking lots.
Okay.
The day use is made for day.
Yep, makes
use.
sense.
And the trail is not lit either.
We should probably light that up if
The lit trail might be nice.
LED lights.
Not lights all the way down, but.
but probably have lights there.
So we've talked about like city park is we get people that.
Yeah, it's not.
Soccer, I'm playing in that Franklin
I'll put
Village
it out there.
until it is pitch.
Oh, yeah, it's dark
Yeah.
and I can't, even I'm like, I can't even see.
I can't see when they're still playing. I'm just going,
Yeah, there.
but lighting up parks would be a good thing.
Absolutely, the new lights at the football field, soccer field. It looks like it did wonders. That was a really nice project.
And what does it do? Does it enhance use? Or,
No, it's at the high school, that the high school lighting. They got a nice grant and they were able to put in some really fancy strobing lights and changing colors and stuff like that. But that's not
Yeah.
that's for the high school.
And not saying that strobe lights are not, I just mean it's more well lit.
It is so much better than what it used to be for the
Way
lighting there. But there's, in my opinion, there's no reason the city park cannot have lights that will light up the ball fields, the basketball courts.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So think about it. We've talked about how Boardman is a very hot place. Do you think people want to have tournaments in the daytime, or if it was well lit at nighttime, we can have those later in the day? Going into spring and fall with the way the time and light changes.
to avoid heat of day?
And then I kind of want to go a little bit back to accessibility. She was talking about the fishing, they like to go fishing.
We get fishing in there.
Yes.
I believe last year somebody brought it to our attention that when they were younger, they couldn't really go fishing except for just on the river, because they didn't have a boat, nobody, they don't get any for a boat, so. What they would like to see is like kind of like a little bridge going, kind of like the one that we have. What do you call that? That ramp, boat ramp? Yeah, the boat launch instead, and have that out in the other parts of the marina for people to go out and fish, and then have a little safety net so you don't fall.
Yeah, before the other group transitioned out, that's kind of where I want to go to is they might not have the safest place to fish. We have the dock. But then what majority alternative is, if you don't have a boat, is climbing on the rocks,
The jetty.
the jetting to fish. And I was, something I saw at last lake, I'm just gonna give that example again, is that they had man-made concrete platforms for individual groups to go out and fish
Yeah,
on.
so they have.
Which also makes it more of an inclusive environment for people who want to fish, that don't want to risk their ankles in
Or
the
that
rocks.
safe, places or safe platform to fish.
Mhm.
Okay.
And I would put on there the trail out to those platforms.
Yeah.
Cause that's
Yeah,
what,
trail out to
cause it's those big, huge boulders that are dangerous to walk to get out to the end.
But it doesn't, the fish aren't only right there, right? This could be all along down the
We,
trail.
we could put them all
Yeah.
over.
Yeah, so I was thinking, yeah, that's what I was thinking,
I know that
right
one of my
outside.
plans is to put in an ADA dock.
Maybe not. Who wants to go to that? Cause we've been doing the rocks for years. We're
All right, so there's other policy issues, but encourage you to just think if there's anything else you want to add to the list when we adjourn at the end, please come up and we'll add them to the list. So maybe just take
I
notes.
know you're gonna transition, but e-bikes is coming up a lot in my world. Any
I saw
thoughts?
somebody writing that, I'm like, can you?
All of my friends tell me to buy an e-bike. Everyone's buying.
That was so, that looks so good, I feel like we need to rent those out.
The path's not wide enough apparently. Rent them? I don't know. I don't know about renting. I don't know about actual boats. I don't know about actual jet skis.
E-scooters,
Yeah,
yeah.
Oh,
Now that's different.
it's the same thing.
No, it's not an e-bike.
Do you have anything, Dom? Sorry.
No, I think everything that they're saying is great. It makes perfect sense. Definitely. And then the lighting accessibility too, and having access to, whether it be walking, biking, and having safe paths to get to these parks for all users. It's kind of an
Yeah,
important
safe.
thing.
I've heard that in another
Safe path.
safe path
Safe.
and safe pedestrian connections, right?
Yeah, pedestrian and bike too. I think, kind of trying to promote some physical activity, especially with our youth, and adults. I mean,
I guess
you
going
guys
over the
have that
bridge.
riverfront trail that's just amazing, and it's, the Dalles is very similar. We have one it's used, but it's not used tons by local people, so it's just amazing.
There is no safe way besides walking on the side of the road to get from over the bridge to the marina. Besides walking on,
That's in the works too.
okay,
Yep, they're working on a plan.
So that's the bridge you're saying that they've got to widen.
They're gonna widen out.
no, so I'm talking about this, the bridge to get to the marina, that was a walking bridge.
No, I know
Okay.
the one,
No,
yeah,
that
the
one's
one that
safe
goes
now.
over
Have
the.
you walked by it? Have you walked by
You
it?
wanna rotate?
If you're saying they're replacing it, it's not safe.
Well, not replacing, widening out. Cities will widen out the Y. Cause they're gonna put in a bike path and a sidewalk.
Good. Awesome.
All the way down?
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Hey, you're the fast one to get out of here.
Yeah, I
They
gotta
made
run.
us
I don't
They made us talk fast.
You just come back for more food and turn around and get more food, turn around. You just eat down it so fast.
Will you go over to the doctor?
Yeah.
It's hot and cold.
Where are you taking them? Or still, you gotta come back and watch. What are you doing?
You can't have
You're
the
big.
kids just sit out. Feels bad.
Yeah.
And that's all the time.
Why?
Jimmy, Chris.
She doesn't know. And you would think you'd have a good understanding of food.
Oh,
Oh, barely.
Well, that's why you, exactly. But you don't get any weight on in the winter time.
are you still talking to him? Cause he's gone. I know.
Say my piece, whether he's there or not.
But yeah, I think that building off of where that gazebo is at, down in that area, just building like a fishing, like a 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
Yep.
Cause I mean, like right now, going on the rocks, that's all they can do. Like I know my daughter and her boyfriend, they would always go fishing. Like every single weekend going fishing, but that's all they can do. That's the only place they can be on the rocks. And I went out there on the paddle board and I'm like, I would not get on those rocks.
Walk out, when there's a fishing derby. Any tournament comes in, I'll go out there when they're launching their boats in the mornings and I will go out there on the jetty and just walking out on that. And
We don't have-
an older gentleman tried walking out there and it's just miserable.
Oh.
We need to grab something else on the right.
Oh my.
You and a man.
Should have brought him a diet.
Oh. Yeah, she jumped all over what you said.
Because you're knowledgeable. Why is that bad?
It's not what, it's what it refers to. Give me that salad.
Talk to you like that.
I always got more credit. Oh, that.
Can I have the salad, please? We have some manners.
Thank you,
We're in
sir.
front of somebody here. We have company.
All right, that'll take care of me. That was policies. This.
Don't put add your
Yeah.
sheltering shade at Marina goes on with this year. The site specific.
And that's just on all the playgrounds.
Got it. Okay, so that's
The campground.
so that is a system wide sheltering shade around play.
Mhm.
I'm gonna,
Yeah.
All right.
you already explained what.
No,
No,
but I can.
No, I got it.
You guys good? I'm gonna go join the other group. Yeah.
Out some markers and some sticky notes. And some colored dots.
Your NT more less work.
I am running low.
Oh.
Are you also NT sticking up?
Yes.
It doesn't matter what colors you use.
Okay.
You got that in there. Anyway. Even for hills. So, I don't know how I can do this so she can see it there as well. I suppose I could put it up here for. See that? I know it's probably hard for you to see on film, but, because it's so tiny, but. So,
It's okay. I'll make it work.
so I'll just let you know what we're talking about. So. We went to all the park sites today. And we were looking at specifically at maintenance and safety of these parks. How well maintained are they? Did we see any safety concerns? We also looked at the amenities and attractions at the various parks. Things like, benches, restrooms. It could be, play courts, etc. And then also site assets. So for example, this is kind of a broad subject. So for example, down at the Marina Park, the site asset down there is a connection to water. That's a really important asset. Somebody else in a previous focus group wrote down mature trees could also be an asset. I understand that there was a big windstorm a couple of summers ago that blew down
2020.
a bunch of trees. And I know from visiting the sites today that, there were places where I thought, God, there could be more trees here. And then somebody said, well, there used to be more trees
Mhm.
and a lot of them blew down. So that could be, that's kind of like a site asset. So thinking about safety and maintenance, thinking about amenities that you use when you go to these parks, thinking about big assets that the park might have, some special thing about these, and you're familiar with a lot of the city parks. What we'd like to know is, do you have anything you want to add to this list? Like some people put down for maintenance and safety, fencing and boundaries. Because, they want to bring their little ones to the park and they want to make sure that their kid's not going to run off somewhere down the beach or somewhere out into the street or something. So that's kind of a safety thing. Uneven ground, there was the trail down at Marina Park, there were some trees growing along
And
the
that's,
edges
yeah, that's hard. 'cause
and the roots. Yeah, so that's causing a little bit of tripping hazards, that's a safety issue. So things like that, that's what we mean by maintenance and safety. I will say the parks were very green and nicely mowed and everything looked, that was really nicely irrigated, so that's, if you want to emphasize something that's really good about a park, that you think is particularly special, make a note of that. The amenities. Do you think that, some of these places could use more seating? Could it use better lighting? Stuff like that, amenities.
I really feel like all of them should have outdoor restrooms. And not just at the city park, there's one in one. I feel like there should be at least a couple more.
Yes.
And this-
Someone actually made note of, more restrooms at City Park.
Okay.
And I think one of the suggestions was maybe during events, like when there's kids' games,
So,
they
yeah,
could be temporary, but you're suggesting maybe something more permanent.
yes. Also, I was thinking we can move those events to a school and provide maybe restrooms at the school for, I know at the high school they have restrooms when there's games for that, but I was thinking if maybe we could do any of the youth sports outside at the high school. I've been to a lot of high school events that their youth sports were going on when we showed up. And they're at the high school. Everything's at the high school. Everything's going on at the high school. They've got restrooms available, even though they're not permanent, they've got restrooms available there. So I think maybe having some of those restrooms even at the schools.
So this is specifically for like something that's happening at the school.
Yeah, like if there's an event going, like let's say there's youth soccer. And we decide to move that over to the high school area because we do have a lot of green space.
It's gonna actually move to the elementaries
Yeah,
next year.
I know. I was thinking, yeah, because everything at all the other towns I've gone when I've driven the bus, everything's at the high school, like, and then a lot of people stay and watch the high school games. So I thought that was kind of cool. So I kind of wanted to mention that to you, but yeah, I was thinking, just having something where the kids go and play right now, because I take my kids over to the elementary schools to play on that structure.
Mhm.
And there is one outdoor bathroom, restroom, and that's it. But I feel like, but yeah, they're on top of that, I guess, whoever said that.
Sounds like you're justifying a sports complex instead. That's what it
That's
sounds.
great.
Totally for that.
I mean, really, we need to have like one, yeah.
Also, I don't know about the geese. I don't think you could really do much about that because there's geese all year round. There's birds. They're constantly.
Yeah, we
pooping
talked
and
about that. We
Mhm.
talked
Yeah.
about that on the board. We can't fence, we can't, we wanted to put a fence so they can't land over the fork.
Or put up a sign, please.
No geese allowed.
The picture of them with the big.
What you said, so you said the high school?
Yeah,
No
I
more
would,
restroom for events?
for events,
Okay.
if they were to move the youth sports there. But since he's saying they're gonna move them to Sam Boardman, then more restroom
More
space.
restroom space. Yeah, we've talked about that already, but yeah,
Okay,
that's a good one to add on there.
yeah.
Cause like wherever we're at, there's not enough restrooms.
Yeah, anyway.
So, and it doesn't, we bring them in for
Even if-
Little League, we bring them in for.
So
but-
generally for events, you
Yeah,
say.
so I had a soccer
Temporary
tournament one year
events.
and we plugged up the bathroom. I had to get independent transport to bring me porta potty. Because there was,
Here.
it was,
Cause the parkway, is it Fiddleview?
no, I had the,
They don't have bathrooms there either, right?
they don't have that.
And it's kind of hard, like when, cause there's a lot of like tournaments that happen there and like you have to either like go home or have to go to the rec to go use the restrooms. Cause there's,
You're talking about site-specific things, marker 40. We talked earlier about how hot it is in summer and shade.
Mhm.
Shade in marker 40, we have the pavilion and we have a pergola.
2 pergolas.
2 pergolas.
Yes.
I think,
But there's not enough shading, definitely.
yeah, it's a lot.
4th of July, that
space.
place, the overcrowding is 4th of July, it's packed. And shading is.
Like designated spaces for.
So at that park, I know there's like a couple of shade structures on the beach. And then there's that big pergola on the park side. But yeah, somebody else said maybe something, but you're suggesting maybe more of those shade structures?
Yeah, the pergolas, so we have a pavilion and we have 2 pergolas, so more pergolas. And benches, I don't think there's any benches at the 40. So unless you wanted to sit down.
One at the far end. At the.
Oh,
right before
at the, okay, yeah. At the lid.
Yeah, more benches.
We get more bathrooms there too. Cause there's only that one,
There's 2,
Two.
Well-
male and a female, yeah.
yeah, and two, well, one.
Yeah.
I'm thinking like.
And so that's inadequate for that area, I guess, when you have events.
For 4th of July, I'd say.
Birthdays, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of birthday parties that go on there also.
There's just a lot of events there, like in general, same with like fundraisers, birthday parties, sporting events.
I think that could be more, the 40.
Yeah, the 40, yeah.
What about a boat launch at the 40?
You need to talk to somebody on that, that's not ours to do.
Alright, I'll call the 40.
Talk to someone else, you know.
So
Subdivision parks.
that's water connection.
What's the pink sticker next to the subdivision parks? Need what? That one.
Need to.
Oh, need to name and add amenities.
Okay, yep.
Yeah,
That's on all of them,
Subdivision.
all the green spaces.
yeah, pretty much naming signage is lacking. I think the one park down by the waterfront.
Subboard Beach had.
Yes, that's right.
Had what?
Had a sign, they left
They
the sign on the Subboard Beach, cause it was nice and big and bright, and I go, what sign?
Oh.
So Don, can you, I don't know, it's probably hard for you to read any of this, but do you have any thoughts on, anything you might like to see added to any of the parks in the city?
No, I think a lot of the comments that I'm hearing are they make a lot of sense in terms of restroom facilities. They've got, it sounds like the schools are really kind of filling in the gap in terms of when there are not other facilities available, which I think is it's kind of what we're looking to do, is potentially build that out so it's not going to be so heavily relying on the school. Is that kind of the sense that you guys are thinking, is trying to build a little bit more capacity so that the schools won't be bogged down with, multi.
Right now they're using both the elementaries, obviously at the high school for and the rec center. Everything's being used for basketball right now. That's in season, and wrestling. So kind of like people that do 1 year-round sport. I mean, what are they gonna do? Where are they gonna go?
Right.
So I mean, basketball goes on year-round as well. So we want to make sure that we have other sports available year-round. But there's limited space.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. So it sounds like it, not just outdoor space, but also indoor space is needed, especially for those, because we do have 4 seasons. So, I mean, you need something for varied sports. So, no, I think a lot of the comments are great. One thing I was gonna I had a question regarding the restroom facilities that come in. Do you guys just bring in like porta pots for, for example, for the 4th of July event? Is that usually what happens? Okay. And then,
We have restroom facilities, but it's just not adequate enough, so we have to bring them in.
and like down on the waterfront, on the riverfront trail, are there bathrooms sporadically through? No, there aren't. Okay.
Just at the ends along the riverfront
Okay.
part.
Makes sense.
One
Okay.
one end and one at the other end. Putting in a third one in the middle might be a smart idea.
And I don't think you can have too many restrooms, but that's me. So
More.
I think most people would agree with me, but maybe not.
Would make more sense to have one Subboard Beach Or at marker 40, not marker 40, Silverboard Golf. Right there.
The marina one needs a facelift.
Yeah, because when I went paddleboarding, I went from the marina to the river lodge. And I was like, I need to go to the bathroom. I gotta go back. Or get off at the river lodge and leave my paddleboard out there. And go inside.
Yeah. Cause I can guarantee we have people that go running in the trees to go use the bathroom and Silverboard.
Completely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that really does make sense to put something like that. The other one I was gonna say is, for another amenity, we wanna have, a community, multi-purpose building where we can teach classes as well as for dances, dance classes, food cooking classes.
We're gonna use the senior center for that.
Well, I'd love to build out the senior center.
Yeah, and it's huge. You've got all that space.
So there's plenty of space to do that.
So multi-purpose building. Sounds like a community center
Correct.
type of building.
Yeah, but we gotta, that's our problem with the senior center.
Oh,
We
yeah.
cannot turn it into a community center.
They don't want it to be a
It's
community. center.
definitely a senior center.
Yeah, they don't, they made it sure that it's
Yeah.
not, they
Yeah.
specifically said, we do not want this to be a community center. Yeah, they said that. I was on the board when they said it and I was like, okay, that's
So
fine.
a community multi-purpose building.
Yeah.
Cause people can't rent it out. I know somebody wanted to rent it out for sewing classes. I mean, I know they can go to the rec center for dancing classes, maybe add bars to some of the areas.
If we can get the extra space. Awesome.
Yeah, so, site assets, what else? I mean, we do need drinking fountains that actually work
Okay.
and more,
It's on drink.
garbage cans.
The drinking fountains here, so that's
I think-
generally, I guess, as an amenity for a lot of parties.
Yeah, I feel like a little bit more garbage cans around the area. If I've had to walk. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Like for water bottles?
No, sorry.
Cycling center.
Yes.
Okay, just make the list. I just want to make sure we got.
It's like-
Like we're getting data.
Mhm. Thank you.
Need some help, George?
Thank you, Don.
Dawn,
Yes,
I'm back. Hi. Oh, you probably can't see me. I'm not in the picture.
you aren't. Sure. But I hear you. Oh, I see you now. There we go.
So how was it watching this group? Did you?
Good. I think you're probably gonna have, it sounds like there's a lot of the similar conversations going on. And Carla, did you touch base on, kind of what this plan is and how important it is to have? And I may have missed it. You may have touched on that.
You
And
know,
what-
we sent a welcome letter,
Okay.
but
Okay.
maybe I'll take 2 seconds in the wrap up and talk about that a little bit. 'Cause I don't
Maybe
know that we
especially
did that with
with
the-
all the development you guys have coming in, and this is, basically this is kind of like your playbook and so kind of
Yeah.
understanding, thinking big and thinking out of the boxes, don't let anything hinder you and your thoughts and ideas because there's so much stuff going on and coming up in the very near
Yeah.
future.
Yeah, no, that's a really good thought. That's a really good thought.
All right, everybody. Can't speak for everybody, but every group that I sat in, I feel like we had fantastic input. So thank you very, very, very much. What we'll do now is kind of take your comments and try to summarize and organize, and then probably you'll see them kind of the summary brought back to you. But I encourage you as you exit, if there's something that came to mind for any of these discussions, please just come up to us and we can add it to the list as you leave, because we don't want to miss anything that's important to you. we were gonna do one other exercise, but that's fine. We have 4 minutes, so we want to be respectful of your time. So we're gonna kind of conclude, and if Carla's got any.
Yeah, I think the one thing, we just kind of jumped into this and I was just talking to Dawn there for a moment, and I think I want to take a moment and then I want George to add anything to it. So that you could understand really why we decided to do this. We didn't really talk about that. We just kind of jumped into the meeting. For the city, we started a process several years ago to evaluate our system development charges. And the city assesses those on new development for water and wastewater. And the program's more than 20 years old. We need to update it. It doesn't comply with current statute and a whole lot of other stuff. And when we started talking with the consultants, we said, well, we think we might want to also add parks and transportation. And they said, well, do you have a list of projects? We're like, no. And well, do you have a plan? I'm like, well, the transportation plan is 20 years old and we don't have a parks plan. So it was interesting because the conversation, there was some changes at the park district and George had come on board, and I did reach out and ask for their master plan. The city didn't have a parks master plan. The district's parks master plan at the time I asked was just about to expire. So we started having a conversation about, well, you need to replace yours and we don't have one. And we've seen this incredible growth, and we have these parks that seem a little disjointed and we're not really sure what we're doing, and we don't have a lot of assets related to them. So what do you think? Should we write a parks master plan? And that's kind of how it started. And we drafted a scope and we talked to a number of consultants about it. And this group just blew it out of the water. I mean, it was a great response that they had. And we're just, I think from the city's perspective, we're really excited to be doing this. There's been a lot of changes in leadership and a lot of changes in how we do things here at City Hall. It's really kind of an exciting time. And then we're taking on all this other planning at the same time. So TSP update, and we're doing an economic opportunities analysis, and we're looking at this from a strategic planning perspective about where's Boardman going? Where do we see Boardman in not just in 5 years, but in 20 years, how is it going to grow? And I think a lot of people drive by the freeway and they know about C&D and they see the big cement built blocks and they don't know what that really is, but they never get off the road. They don't realize that there's this whole city down here or that whole port area over there. And I think when we first started having the conversation, as we were refining the scope of work, made the choice and started refining the scope, and Bonnie got brought into the process and we started talking about marketing and some of these other things, it was kind of like, that kind of just blows my mind because I had never really thought of that kind of stuff related to thinking about parks and kind of what you do with them. So I have learned an incredible amount, and I cannot thank you enough for participating. And I know that the people that we have in this room and on this PAC are going to provide a lot of really valuable insight to help us get it right. And I'm not going to say we're going to get it perfect, but we're going to get so much further doing this process than we would have otherwise. So I don't know, George, would you add anything to that, please?
Our old plan that I appreciate everything Ted did for our parks, down at the marina. This park plan finished up, in 2022-23. Okay, so, and I go through and look at all the things that were planned on and that he accomplished in those 10 years that this was in. And, I'm going, he set a precedent for me to make sure that we have good goals in the future. And so when I've gone through my list, I mean, I have 100 things on my list that I want to accomplish in the next 10 years. The one thing I want to see happen is we're not looking just 10 years down the road. We have to look beyond that. And I think one person that's done that here in our town that's done a great job with that, of make things happen, is fire chief. Mike's done a great job of making sure our fire department is moving in the right direction. You build a facility that's gone good. You look at, that's the vision I want to see us have. The port, the port does a tremendous job of supporting everyone throughout the county of providing infrastructure help and engineering. It's crazy, and we got the right community here, and the right people to make things happen. So for me, I was going to do our own park plan. And then when Carla asked for a copy, and we got together, Brandon, and then I contacted RH, the SDAO, and they recommended definitely join forces with the city. It just shows collaboration, and it has been. And the collaboration that has happened leading up to tonight is huge. And I can't say enough of the gratitude I have for what has happened at this point. And so for you guys to be a part of this, I totally am appreciative. And I go through this checklist of everything that got done in that last park plan. And I just know that what these guys develop for the next park plan for the city and for us, it's just gonna be amazing. And I just saw all these ideas that I saw on the boards keep coming in. I was just going, I'm going to get emotional, but I appreciate it. Thanks.
It's okay. I cry sometimes too, George. It is exciting.
So next steps, the holiday season is upon us, so we're gonna take a slow pace to get through the new year. And then you're gonna start hearing from us a little bit more in January. Our next target is to prepare for your next meeting, but also the first community meeting. So between now and when we kind of resurface in the beginning of the year, we're gonna be holding a lot of focus group meetings. So perhaps you'll be part of those discussions if you're part of those organizations. So we'll be gathering additional information from those groups. So in the meantime, if you can let Carla know, we talked about time frame. So we've got the dates of our.
There is one conflict on a date.
Oh, there is. Okay.
Yep, yeah, it's, you got it as a Tuesday, but you got the Wednesday's date.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I will check. I will double check my accuracy.
Got it.
Okay.
It can't be on that Tuesday. It has to be on the day.
Yeah, yeah.
Correct,
Yeah,
not the
I'm
day.
wrong day. So I will make sure it's accurate and then time.
Not on there, I can't.
It's not right. I just have it works for you, or if that's just not working, let's send her some recommended timeframes, and maybe we'll send out a doodle to you and just select a more appropriate time if I'm 7. And then also for community meetings, if you have any input on timing for community meetings, they'll be scheduled on a Tuesday and then a Wednesday night. But what time do you think would work for a community meeting for the community at large? 6 to 8, 4 to 6,
I feel like parents get out a lot during the concerts, and there's concerts coming up, so I feel like that's something that we probably need to hit is the concerts.
Oh, to go and kind of talk to the community.
Yeah, to talk to the parents. I mean, even if
Spring concerts might be better timed.
Yeah.
I mean, winter concerts are gonna be,
Be here before we get to do it.
right, they're coming too fast.
Yeah.
So spring concerts might be,
Spring.
yeah.
Are you talking about like
just
I
for the
think
word.
Community,
time? No, we're talking about time.
yeah.
6 to 8 probably.
6 to 8. It's 6 to 8 for a large community meeting.
Yeah.
More appropriate, okay. Right, that's it.
I do have a question too. Did you say 10-year plan?
Say that again.
10-year plan?
Yeah,
It's usually a parks plan is a 10-year plan.
Like to see a short-term, mid-term, and long-term, and the long-term's 10 years. So.
Right, no.
This group wants to accomplish things, and I think that we can. Dollars to, get things done, and I think that we. Be aggressive on the schedule.
So I think the timing 1 to 5, 5 to 10, and 10 plus was kind of the breakdown we were looking at, but if that needs to change, we can talk when we start to prioritize projects. We can start to talk about that time range.
So keep in mind, I mean, I personally want that 25 to 50 year would think about that as well. Think long term, what is something?
I'm gonna be too old to walk that, that's all.
You better be thinking about Jackson.
No garbage about Jackson. We'll all be.
Think about Jackson. Okay, think of.
Get on his e-bike, let's go be around.
Great. Well, thank you all very much. And again, if you've got any additional comments that we should note, please just talk to us in your way out.
Going, it's.
Thank you all. I'm gonna end the recording, Dawn, and end the meeting. So thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Take care.
Thank you.
Come join us next time.
When you said that.